have to play Myles Garrett on Sundays. So that's something to be excited about in itself. But
Spencer Fano and KC Concepcion walked into their introductory press conference, and honestly, this did not feel like two rookies just saying the usual safe answers. This felt like the Browns introducing two players who already understand the pressure waiting for them. Right away, Spencer Fano gave Browns fans the quote they probably wanted to hear without even trying too hard. One of his first thoughts about joining Cleveland was that he does not have to play against Myles Garrett on Sundays anymore. And that sounds funny at first, but it also says a lot, because every offensive lineman in football knows what kind of nightmare Myles Garrett is. So for Fano to say that, it shows he understands the level of talent already in the building. But then he flipped it and said he is excited to go against Garrett in practice, because there is no better way for him to get better. That is exactly the mindset Browns fans should want from a rookie tackle.
I mean, he's maybe the best player in the world, so to go against him every day is going to be awesome.
This is where it gets dangerous, because if Spencer Fano is serious about using Myles Garrett as his daily measuring stick, then Cleveland might have the perfect developmental setup for him. Think about it. A rookie offensive tackle coming into the NFL already has a hard job. The speed is different, the power is different, the technique is different. But if he is going against one of the best pass rushers in football every day in camp, he is either going to sharpen fast or get exposed fast. And Fano sounded like he wants that challenge, not like he is scared of it. Then the conversation moved into versatility, and this is where both Fano and KC started showing why the Browns liked them. They were asked about being more than just one position players, and both of them basically said the same thing in different ways. The more you can do, the more valuable you become. Fano talked about being able to fill in wherever needed, because football is unpredictable. Somebody can go down, the plan can change, and suddenly your team needs you somewhere else. And he made a really smart point too, that learning multiple positions does not just help you physically, it helps you understand the game better.
Well, it's like the same saying that there's no greater joy of moving a man from point A to point B against his will. And there's really nothing like it. You know, when you're just pushing it back, it's like swinging at your arms. There's no feeling like that, and then you're able to put someone in the dirt. It's awesome.
Here's the part nobody's talking about. That answer matters because the Browns are rebuilding pieces of this offense at the same time. Fano is coming into an offensive line room that is changing. KC is coming into a receiver room where roles are still being shaped. So their ability to move around, learn fast, and not complain about where they line up could be huge. This is not just about talent. It is about whether these rookies can fit into a team that is trying to reset the way it plays offense.
I met Shedeur. He's, a great guy, a great leader.
KC Concepcion also had an interesting moment when he was asked about Shedeur Sanders. He said he had actually met Shedeur before when he entered the transfer portal and visited Colorado. He called him a great guy and a great leader, and he sounded excited about building that connection again. Now, he did not go overboard with it, but you could tell there's already some familiarity there, and that matters, because if Shedeur is part of the Browns' quarterback picture, having a young receiver who already respects him and knows a little about him could help.
I mean, sure, I'm ready. Or I feel like it's such a cool thing to be believed in, and I'm not one that likes to let people down.
This is where young players usually make a mistake. They get drafted and immediately try to make everything about themselves. But KC did not do that. He talked about relationships, connection, building trust, and doing his job. That's important for a receiver, especially a young one, because talent gets you drafted, but trust gets you targets. If the quarterback doesn't trust you to be where you're supposed to be, it doesn't matter how explosive you are. KC seems to understand that early. Then came one of the biggest moments of the press conference when Fano was asked what it meant to hear Andrew Berry tell him the Browns expect him to be their franchise left tackle of the future. And Fano's answer was simple, but it hit hard. He basically said he's ready and that it feels cool to be believed in because he doesn't like letting people down. That's not a loud answer, but it's a real answer. You can tell he understands the weight of that statement. franchise left tackle is not a small label. That is not a rotational role. That is a major responsibility. And here's the part nobody's talking about. Fano doesn't come across like some big flashy personality, but then he starts talking about blocking and suddenly you hear the edge. Andrew Barry apparently told people not to be fooled by his kindness, and when Fano was asked if there's a switch that flips on the field, he kind of laughed through it at first, but then he explained there's nothing like moving a man from point A to point B against his will. He talked about pushing a guy back, watching him fight with your arms, and then putting him in the dirt. That's when you realize, okay, this guy may be polite at the microphone, but he's not soft. That matters in Cleveland. Browns fans don't want an offensive tackle who just looks the part. They want someone who enjoys the dirty work. They want someone who takes pride in making defenders uncomfortable, and Fano gave them that. He didn't try to sound fake tough. He just described the feeling of dominating someone physically, and you could tell he meant it. For a rookie tackle walking into a city that respects toughness, that was a good impression. Fano also talked about Joe Thomas, and that part was important too. He called Thomas one of the best, and what stood out to him was not just the skill, but the fact that Thomas played year after year without missing a snap. Fano saw that as a character thing, and that's the perfect player for him to admire in Cleveland, because Joe Thomas represents everything Browns fans want from a left tackle. Consistency, toughness, professionalism, and elite play, even when the team around him was struggling. This is where it gets dangerous, because when a Browns rookie tackle starts talking about Joe Thomas, the expectations automatically go up. Nobody should expect Fano to be Joe Thomas right away. That would be unfair. But when you put on that Cleveland uniform and you're being talked about as the future at left tackle, the shadow of Joe Thomas is always there. Browns fans remember what elite tackle play looks like. They know what stability feels like. And now Fano has to begin building his own version of that.
Concepcion had his own confidence moment when reporters brought up the letter he wrote to the general manager, where he called himself the best receiver in the draft class. Now that is bold, but honestly, you want a receiver to believe that. Casey explained that he sees himself as versatile, as a playmaker, and as someone who can impact the game in different ways. He was respectful to the rest of the receiver class, but he did not back away from his belief in himself. And for a Browns offense that needs juice, that confidence is not a bad thing. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Casey's confidence is not just about catching passes. The Browns apparently also viewed him as one of the best punt returners in the class. That gives him another path to impact the game right away. Sometimes rookie receivers need time to earn full offensive roles, but special teams can get them on the field early. If KC can flip field position, make defenders miss, and bring energy as a returner, he can force the coaching staff to keep giving him opportunities. Both players were also asked about being ready to work, and neither one acted like the job was already done. Fano admitted there is going to be a learning curve. He said he knows he is about to face players who are bigger, faster, and stronger than anyone he has gone against before, but he sounded excited to take that challenge head on. Casey said he is ready to compete and ready to get to work. That might sound basic, but for rookies, that mindset matters. The draft is the celebration. The NFL is the test. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They fall in love with the moment of getting drafted and forget that the real work starts immediately after. But both Fano and Casey seem to understand that the press conference is just the welcome party. Rookie minicamp, training camp, and real competition are where they actually prove they belong. And for the Browns, who are trying to turn this offense into something more reliable and more explosive, they need these two to grow fast. There was also a personal side to the press conference that made both players feel more human. Fano talked about his fiancée, his parents, and the sacrifices that helped him get to this point. He mentioned his family not being there because his brother was also in the draft, which is pretty wild when you think about it. Casey talked about his dad putting a football in his hand when he was 4 years old, his mom making sacrifices, his 4 younger brothers, and his girlfriend being a big support system. These were not just football answers. These were two young men realizing their families helped carry them to the NFL. And that matters, because Cleveland is not always an easy place to play. The fans care. The criticism comes fast. The pressure can get heavy. Having a strong support system can be the difference between a rookie staying grounded and a rookie getting overwhelmed. Both Fano and Casey both sounded like they know they did not get here alone. That humility could help them when the league starts throwing punches back. Casey also talked about joining Jerry Jeudy, and that was another underrated moment. He said he watched those Alabama receivers growing up, and that he is excited to pick Judy's brain. He believes their games can complement each other. That is important, because Casey is not coming in trying to replace everybody. He is coming in trying to add something. If he can learn route detail from Judy while bringing his own versatility and return ability, that could be a strong fit. Fano talked about offensive line coach George Warhawk too, and you could tell he liked the fit. He described him as old school, hardcore, and the kind of coach he is used to. That's exactly what you want to hear from a rookie lineman. Offensive line play is technical, physical, and uncomfortable. If Fano already respects that coaching style, then the transition could be smoother. He is not walking into the room expecting things to be easy. He is walking in ready to be coached hard. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Fano actually sounded excited about the offensive line being in the middle of a big overhaul. Some rookies might want to walk into a stable room where everything is already set, but Fano said it could be fun to build relationships at the same time with everyone. He talked about being everybody's shadow and learning how to be great in the league. That is a very smart answer. He understands he is not just joining a line, he is joining a line that is trying to become something together. Then came the question, and Fano gave exactly the answer a lineman should give. He said it doesn't matter to him whether it's Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, or anybody else. His job is to block for whoever's back there. That's simple, but it's the truth. He even said hearing Deshaun Watson's name feels like a celebrity name to him. And he mentioned playing against Shedeur in college, but he didn't get caught choosing sides. He kept it professional. KC did the same thing, saying both guys are talented, and his job is to get open and catch the ball. This is where it gets dangerous, because the Browns' quarterback situation is going to be one of the biggest storylines around this team. Every answer will be picked apart. Every practice rep will be watched. Every connection will be turned into a debate. So for two rookies to come in and avoid drama to that conversation was smart. They know their jobs. Fano blocks. KC gets open. Let the quarterback battle play itself out. But make no mistake, these two are connected to that battle whether they want to be or not. If Fano stabilizes the left side, he makes life easier for the quarterback. If KC becomes a reliable weapon, he gives the quarterback another option. So even though they're not the ones competing for QB1, their development could shape how that competition looks. That's the bigger picture. And that brings us to the real legacy angle. This press conference was not just about Spencer Fano and KC Concepcion smiling for the cameras. It was about the Browns trying to build a new offensive core. A young tackle who wants to learn from Myles Garrett, live up to Joe Thomas standards, and become the franchise left tackle. A young receiver who believes he is the best playmaker in his class, can return punts, play multiple roles, and build with whoever is at quarterback. That is not small. That is the beginning of a bigger bet. Now the question is whether Cleveland can actually develop them. Because drafting talent is one thing, turning that talent into production is another. Fano has the mindset. KC has the confidence. Both have versatility. Both sound ready to work, but the Browns have to coach them, protect them from being thrown into bad situations, and let them grow while still expecting real results. So now the debate starts. Did the Browns just introduce two real culture setters who can help transform this offense? Or are we getting excited over press conference answers before the real football begins? Because Fano saying he wants Myles Garrett every day sounds great, but now he has to survive those reps. KC saying he is the best receiver in the class sounds great, but now he has to prove it against NFL defenders. The words were strong, the energy was right, but in Cleveland, nobody gets crowned at the podium. You earn it on Sundays.